It is everyone's favorite ranking system, today's top 5. Check out the new graphic. Well, kind of new. This is the second time we've been displaying it. New to you, Steve. You weren't here last time we had the new graphic and the new setup. But in case you forget what today's top 5 is, it is where Steve and I rank the teams or players in the correct sports context that they deserve to be in 1 through 5. Today we are doing the top 5 NFL teams that have the most pressure heading into the 2025 NFL season. Some people may disagree. I'm sure most of you will because we are the sound, but let's take a look at today's top 5. Here we have a look at today's top 5, starting at the bottom and working our way up. Number 5, the Chicago Bears. Now look, they don't have a lot of pressure to win the Super Bowl, but Steve has been a vocal advocate, to me in private, that the Bears have had the best offseason of any NFL team. You have a new coach. Caleb Williams needs to do better after his poor season last year. And I think there are just going to be a lot of eyes, Steve, to see where Chicago moves forward with Caleb Williams and now his new coaches and weapons.
I want to ask you a question, and this is the question that I thought about right before we did the show.
Okay.
Name me the last quarterback coming out of college that had superstar hype that lived up to it.
Most recently?
Within the last 20 years. Guys who are being talked about that they will be. Give me another.
Lamar, he wasn't hype type. I'm trying to think of.
Nope.
You're looking for one specific answer?
No, the answer is that outside of Joe Burrow, there really isn't one. There is only a handful of guys that coming out of college, they had superstar hype.
Yeah.
That lived up to that level of expectation. So I've been trying to recently give Caleb Williams a little bit of grace because I do recognize that the media putting that amount of pressure and hype on a guy like that can create a sense of you didn't live up to that hype, but you and me both privately knew that Caleb Williams was not that person, right? The Bears, where their pressure in lies for me is what you had mentioned. They had one of the better off seasons that I can remember in recent history of an NFL team. I mean, they got 2 or 3 of the top offensive linemen and free agent. They went out and got Ben Johnson. And then on top of that, they're continuing to invest in pieces around Caleb Williams. They just went out and got another wide receiver, Luther Burden out of Missouri in the draft, who I was very, very high on. I think that Luther Burden is another speed demon to add to that high-powered offense that they have. But they have gone out and they've invested into Caleb Williams, into his protection, because everyone said, oh, well, he gets sacked too much. Oh, well, he drops back and there's somebody on him right away. He's pressured all the time. Okay, the Bears have answered that question. They're continuing to get him more and more help. So the time is now, essentially, if Caleb Williams is what everyone said he was going to be, it's going to happen right now.
Moving on to number 4, the San Francisco 49ers. Got a lot of stuff going on out there in San Fran. Brock Purdy just got paid. 5-year, $265 million extension. A contract that people thought he either had no business touching or he absolutely deserved. There was no in between with that. Deebo Samuel, gone somewhere else out in Washington. Christian McCaffrey, hurt last season. Brandon Ayuk, hurt last season. George Kittle, subpar last season. There are a lot of... San Francisco was supposed to be the powerhouse NFC team that was going to make the Super Bowl every single year, that the NFC had to run through and claim their piece through. Doesn't seem that way anymore. And like I said, with Brock Purdy getting paid, people think that was either an absolutely foolish decision or, like I said, something that was well-deserved. So San Francisco has a lot to prove. Are they going to get back to their, top-of-the-line status? Is Brock Purdy going to prove his worth? Can they still perform without weapons? A lot of questions going into this season.
I like the Niners at 4 here because to me, when I look at San Francisco, it's more about what you had just said. They were supposed to be the team coming out of the NFC. That was supposed to be, when we say the AFC runs through the Chiefs, the NFC was supposed to run through the Niners. Brock Purdy, to me, I don't think he deserved $50 million a year. But when you got guys like Tua and Trevor Lawrence making that kind of money, unfortunately, the market dictates that a Brock Purdy deserves that kind of paycheck as well. George Kittle at one point in time was number 1, number 2 tight end in the league. I mean, he was one
definitively.
Definitively, probably top 3 definitively if we really thought about it. But like, George Kittle's kind of disappeared. He played a disappearing act. So I like San Francisco at 49. I like the 49ers at 4 here.
Number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. Once again, going to the Super Bowl in the year was 22, but the 21 season, a team that we thought could rival Kansas City, Joe Burrow on the ascent, Jamar Chase on the ascent. All of a sudden, they got hurt, wasn't performing the same. Joe Burrow coming off an MVP season. Nobody thought that they were going to keep both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but they did. The defense, the worst in the NFL last season. And it seemed like the Bengals were going to, or at least to me, I picked them to make the Super Bowl last year prior to the season starting. I thought this was going to be their redemption tour. I thought this was going to be when they reassert themselves as another top AFC contender. Obviously didn't go as planned. Will that be this season? I guess we'll see. Bengals at number 3.
Cam, I thought about a very interesting comparison when you brought this up that I want to share with you live here, actually. To me, if Cincinnati does not get things figured out, Joe Burrow and Dan Marino are going to have very similar careers.
Ooh.
Dan Marino early in his career took the Dolphins to a Super Bowl and never went back. He was always one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, always had one of the top 5 receivers on his team in the league, but was always part of a very bad defense. And he stayed with the organization and trusted and stayed from 84 to 2000. And they made 1 Super Bowl. Is Joe Burrow so tied to Cincinnati that if they keep losing, will they lose him? Is Jamar Chase going to put up 1,700 yards in a season and win 6 games for another 2 or 3 years? These are the things the Bengals have to be worried about, which is why I like them at 3, because if they don't start finding a way to get a better defense and get better defensively, their superstars are going to walk out the door and go find a team that they can start winning some Super Bowls with.
Number 2, the entire NFC East. Seems a little out there, and when I pitched it to Steve, he was like, yeah, maybe. So the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Kansas City Chiefs, coming off the dominant run that they had, Saquon Barkley doing what he did, Jalen Hurts kind of proving himself, Nick Sirianni getting the extension. There's a lot going on in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia needs to prove to not just themselves but everybody else that they can keep doing this. And like we said with San Francisco, they are the new team that runs the NFC. Can they be the ones to keep up that pace like San Francisco couldn't? Will they regress to what they were at the start of last season when nobody really expected them to go as far or as be as dominant, I should say, as they were? The Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, not there really at all last season. Bringing in George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb still playing outstanding. Jerry Jones went on a media tour this offseason. Kind of everywhere you look, he seemed to be somewhere. How are they going to perform in now this tough NFC East with the Washington Commanders? Jaden Daniels, sophomore slump looming for you, brother, this coming season. Is it going to happen like CJ Stroud? Will you overcome it? Can you keep the Commanders afloat in the same powerhouse with the addition of Deebo Samuel like you did last year? And the New York Giants, the entire NFC East really under a lot of pressure this season.
Yeah, no, you and me talked about this for a while when you pitched it to me, and I really kind of bought on, because when you look at how the off seasons for some of these teams have changed and shaped these teams to what they are now, but also when you look at a team like the Giants, who have been mediocre since Eli Manning was on that team, right? When you look at a team like the Commanders, who are coming off of, like you said, the shock and awe of what they were able to put up last season to then, can you continue that level of success, right? But there's a team in this division that I think really is on the precipice of just being downright bad if they can't figure it out, and it's the Cowboys. Every year we hear, oh, they can figure it out. They'll at least make the playoff. Oh, this is their year. This is their year. Dak Prescott, people, even Cowboys fans that I know are like, this dude's got to go. Get him out of here. They just went out and got Joe Milton from the Patriots, a guy that there is a ton of buzz about right now. So Dak has a little fire lit under him. I just don't think it's going to change anything. So I like the NFC East in number 2. All 4 of those teams are under a pretty large amount of pressure this season.
And number 1 at the top of today's top 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can the Chiefs have pressure? They're the best team in the NFL. They have Patrick Mahomes, who is who to some people he's the GOAT or he's number 2. They win or make the Super Bowl every single year. How can they have pressure? Because if they lose in any round, in any fashion, at any time, they are going to be lit up. Patrick Mahomes, they missed the playoffs. The Chiefs will be annihilated by the media. He has a subpar season. Done. They lose at any round, Super Bowl, conference championship, wild card, whatever. Done. They will be obliterated. There is no way the Chiefs are safe from criticism or the question of, is this it? Are we seeing the downfall of Patrick Mahomes? Has the dynasty finally come to a close? Are we finally proving that Tom Brady is still and always will be the GOAT? Those are the immediate conversations that will happen if the Chiefs lose anytime, any place, anywhere. So I think rightfully so, they should be number 1 on today's top 5.
Patrick Mahomes is the LeBron James of the NBA.
Yeah.
No matter when he loses going forward, because of the comparison that people are making of him being the GOAT or the conversation of who is the GOAT, the moment that man loses, up, he's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady, 7 rings, 7, playing with the level of pressure that if you lose, you are going to be hated on. Because people find reasons to hate on the Chiefs now. They're the new Patriots. We look for reasons to dislike the Chiefs in the media. We look for reasons to criticize them. 110%, they have the most pressure going into next season because you can't give me a team that has the amount of criticism and waiting for something bad to happen to them other than the Chiefs.
And that is our list for today's top 5. Going back through it, starting at the bottom and working our way up. Number 5, the Chicago Bears. Number 4, the San Francisco 49ers. Number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 2, the NFC East. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Today's top 5.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.